Good morning, friends. Good morning, friends. Hello, everyone. Good morning, friends. Wish you all a happy new year. Welcome to this fourth webinar in the series of webinars on business intelligence, analytics, and big data. Last year, in December, we started this series of webinars with overview of designing high-performance data warehouse, which mainly concern with the backend of business intelligence. Then we talked about data visualization. So, with respect to the tool that you use, what are the best practices for designing a good dashboard and visualization? Talk about that in the second webinar. Based on some of the requests that we got, we are now actually getting into specifics of technologies in business intelligence. So, in the last webinar, we focused on Penta, which is becomes most end-to-end BI. And the next one that we are taking up is business intelligence and analytics using QlikView. So I hope you will enjoy the session, make it interactive, like the last session, which was very, very interactive. Ask any question that you have, and please try to get maximum benefit from this session. So broadly, this session is divided into two categories. For the first half, we are going to talk about QlikView, what the software is, and the architecture of QlikView. So that's going to be the first part of this particular webinar. In the second part of the webinar, we are going to do a quick demo of QlikView software. Now, the reason for choosing QlikView, let me just talk about those reasons before we actually get into the content. It's actually a very user-friendly tool meant for business users. It requires very less involvement of IT, and it's very easy to learn. So, getting started quickly is easily possible with QlikView. So that's why we are also going to do a quick demo. We call it quick start demo. So how do you start learning QlikView in a couple of hours? We are going to demonstrate that. In the first talk, as I said, we are going to discuss the architecture and overview of QlikView. So we'll start with introduction to QlikTech company. Then we will talk about how QlikView differs from other traditional BI tools like Cognos or Business Objects or SSRS. Then we will look at architecture of QlikView, and finally we will give some hints about how do you get started with QlikView. So if you want to learn QlikView, what is the easiest way? We'll start with that. And as I said, then we'll go for extensive demo of QlikView, demonstrating various features and also demonstrating how do you create a particular quick start dashboard with QlikView. So that's the overall content for today. So let's begin with the overview of QlikView. A lot of things come to mind when somebody talks about QlikView. For some people it means in memory. Not all have heard about in memory. For some people it means technology with lots of customers, very high number of customers. For some people it means something that is very easy to learn. Let's look at what exactly QlikView stands for. The technology is fairly old. In 1993, two Swedish founders started this company in Sweden. Although QlikView is now based in US, it's a US headquartered company. They have a good network of partners. So there are 1,400 global partners, and these partners basically assist QlikView in developing the solutions, delivering the solutions, as well as conducting trainings. They have a very good partner network in India also. In fact, QlikView has India as one of its major geographies. They have a lot of customers in India as well. So talking about customers, they have 25,000 customers, and this is slightly outdated figure. I'm sure that number has reached 30,000 now. So they have 25 to 30,000 customers in 100 countries. That's a big number. So QlikView it differentiates itself from likes of its competitors like Cognos and Business Objects by the number of customers. What does this mean? This means two things: a broad acceptability to QlikView, the technology that it uses, and also it also stands for the fact that QlikView is used by smaller organizations, meaning that companies which cannot afford to have dedicated IT, even those companies are using QlikView. And I can cite a couple of examples later in this webinar. But even smaller companies do use QlikView, which is actually a reason why their number of customers is very high. If you look at the growth of QlikView customers, they have seen a phenomenal growth in last few years, starting with 1,500 customers in 2004 when they were still based in Sweden, till about 30,000 customers in 2013. They have seen a huge jump in the number of customers. Let's take a glance at their customer base. So what you see on the screen is a sample list of their customers. So manufacturing and automobile giants like Volvo, Sandvik, large insurance companies like Zurich Insurance, government agencies like United States Navy. Apart from all these large giants, even smaller companies like Shoppers Stop in India, they also use QlikView, or even companies with very small IT department, say having 3 or 4 member IT team, they are also using QlikView. That just signifies that the range of customers for QlikView is from giants like Vodafone, which analyzes massive data, massive transaction data, all the way to these small companies. The complete segment of customers has adopted QlikView. So the purpose of this particular webinar is not talk about the QlikView company or not propagate the QlikView software, but to go into the architecture and usage of QlikView. So we'll talk about QlikView company as such here, and let's look at what makes QlikView a differentiator in the market. All of us have used Google and Apple devices for a long time. I can't imagine a computer literate person who has not used Google. So what makes Google very easy to adapt? It's its simplicity. Anybody, even someone who has not seen a computer in the past, can just type the search words and then you'll be directed to the required content. What does this mean? Google has simplified the entire backend hardware and backend software and presented it to the users in such a way that it becomes very, very simple. Same is true about Apple. All the Apple devices, they have got rid of complicated hardwares, stylus, etc. and made it very, very simple. And the same philosophy is being followed by QlikView. What QlikView does is it hides the backend complexity of data, backend complexity of databases, files, etc. from business users and presents data to the business users in a very simple form. So what is common in all these technologies is simplicity. Simplicity is what differentiates QlikView from all its peers. And as we go into the webinar, you will see why simplicity is really a key differentiator of QlikView. Let's look at what is actually meant by simplifying analysis. The motto of QlikView is simplifying analysis for everyone. Let's actually look at how they do it. The first part is ETL. Now, if you go for developing business intelligence application in a traditional way, you probably require a complicated ETL tool, which is something like Informatica or DataStage or SSIS for extracting the data and loading it into a data mart. In case of QlikView, all this is done by a wizard-driven small tool at the heart of QlikView. So you don't need to go for a third-party ETL application. If you have source data residing in various databases, various data files, you can extract it using the built-in features, built-in ETL features given in the QlikView. Okay, and the wizard is very simple. It's so simple that even a business user can build and integrate the data from QlikView, from different sources. So that's point number one. That is very easy ETL is something that helps the simplicity of QlikView. The next point that highlights simplicity of QlikView is faster and more efficient than the prepackaged OLAP-based BI solutions. What happens in OLAP-based BI solutions like Cognos or SSAs is that the OLAP cubes are pre-built, and a lot of times OLAP cubes they occupy a lot of space if you aggregate the data at multiple levels. Whereas in case of QlikView, as we will see in the architecture section of this webinar, data is not pre-aggregated. Data is stored in the most granular form, and hence it gives the facility to analyze data the way you want, from any slice and dice criteria you want, and it is equally faster as if you are analyzing data in a pre-built queue. So faster and efficient access is the second differentiator that QlikView has. The third differentiator is real-time analysis engine that allows for unconstrained data. So as we will see, you are not constrained by what path you follow for a drill down in QlikView. So if you want to drill down from, let's say, geography to product, from product to salesperson, from salesperson to currency, all these paths are really possible. So QlikView is really meant for answering business questions rather than following a predefined analytical path. And finally, very highly intuitive, easy to use user interface. No complicated metadata layers, no complicated SQLs to be written, very easy interface, very easy for business users. These are the 4 points which actually make QlikView a simple tool compared to its peers. Integrated ETL, faster and efficient OLAP tool, real-time analysis, and unconstrained drill down, which is also called associative analysis, and easy to use user interface. So these are the things which actually differentiate QlikView from its peers. Now, as a technologist, people who have used QlikView or people who have used QlikView and other technologies, we appreciate the beauty in QlikView's simplicity. But at the same time, the leading analyst firms, they are also appreciating the value of QlikView. So Gartner, which is a leading market analyst agency, which actually compares all technologies in BI and rates them in 4 quadrants, they have constantly rated QlikView in the leaders quadrant. So if you look at this infographic, in 2011, QlikView was rated as leader in the BI quadrant. You can see in the first quadrant on the 2011 Magic Quadrant. In 2012, QlikView increased its leadership. So if you can observe here, QlikView's position is actually slightly increased in 2012. And 2013, they are further ahead, and the QlikView is almost rated as the leader in BI and analytics. So what makes QlikView a different tool compared to its peers? What are the reasons stated by Gartner? Its ability to consolidate data from multiple sources. So whether the data is residing in SAP or ERP or data warehouse or Excel, it can be integrated. Exploring associations in the data, and we are going to see a lot of examples of that shortly. Enabling social decision making through real-time collaboration. So if I see a dashboard, if I have a question to be asked to someone, I can just write a comment on the dashboard and pass it on to my colleagues who can answer that question. So it's a very collaborative tool. And visualizing data with engaging state-of-the-art graphics. That's the biggest differentiator QlikView has. But the differentiator is in terms of newer visualizations, in terms of ease of creating newer infographics. That's why state-of-the-art graphics is a big differentiator of QlikView. And searching across all the data. So you are not constrained by your dimensions or facts. Whatever data you are exposed to QlikView, all of that can be searched. So before we proceed further, just remember that when we talk about QlikView, we are actually learning about the leader in the business intelligence market as stated by the leading market rating agencies. Okay, So now let's get slightly deeper at what makes QlikView a different tool. So as I said previously, QlikView easily consolidates multiple data sources. The way QlikView integrates data is if two data sources have the same column name, then QlikView treats those two columns as the same column and joins those two sources based on that particular column. So the consolidation becomes easy. You can just rename the data in multiple sources and load it in QlikView, and QlikView will take care of consolidating the data. You don't have to do anything specific for that. All the data is loaded in memory. So this is one of the most important technical aspects of QlikView. Unlike other tools which issue a query at runtime, so if you in other traditional tools, what happens is when you click on a dashboard, a query is issued against the data mart or data warehouse, and then the data is fetched from the data mart. The data mart might actually be a OLAP queue. So this involves reading the data from files, reading the data from disk, which actually makes it very slow. But in case of QlikView, you never have to go back to the disk. The data is actually loaded in memory. So what happens is, as we know that reading from memory is much faster than reading from disk. That's why performance of a QlikView dashboard is always going to be faster than performance of equivalent dashboard created using a traditional tool. So that's the second technical differentiator. The third one is massive data compression. 100 GB data warehouse, if you load it in QlikView, is compressed to about 9 to 10 gigabytes. 10 to 1 compression is generally what is achieved by QlikView. And because of this compression, it is possible to load entire data warehouse in memory and achieve the faster drill down using that. So massive compression using proprietary algorithms. So QlikView has got its proprietary compression algorithm using which it compresses data to 10% or even higher compression ratio. Enables real-time search. We already talked about it. Searching across any dimension is possible. And pre-built connectors are available for tools like Salesforce or SAP. If you have to extract data from Salesforce or SAP, you don't have to actually write a code for that. Pre-built connectors are available. As I said previously, one of the biggest differentiators of QlikView is associative nature of data drill down. What it means is, in traditional tools, as you can see on the left side of your screen, if I have to go for drill down from region to state, state to product, and product to salesperson, this particular hierarchy has to be defined. Remember the way you create dashboards in SSRS or some equivalent tools. You have to predefine the hierarchy which you will be following. And if you have to drill down from a region to, let's say, calendar month, you will not be able to do it unless you have predefined that hierarchy. Whereas in case of QlikView, as you can see on the right side of the screen, the technology itself detects associations between various data. So QlikView will internally identify which state belongs to which region and which are the products that are sold in that particular region, and who are the salespeople who belong to a particular state or region or product. What this means is, if you select a particular region, from there you can drill down directly to concerned salesperson. You don't have to follow a particular path, because QlikView will directly tell you that for this region, these are the salespeople who are selling in that region. So this association makes it faster for business users to understand association between data. And let me give you a real life example for that. In case if there is a sales manager who doesn't remember what products a particular salesperson sells, what he can do is he can apply a filter or drill down on a particular region, drill down on the name of the salesperson, and he will automatically be shown what products are sold by that particular salesperson. So no need to remember all the values of dimensions. Data is linked to each other, all the dimensions are linked to each other without any manual intervention. Let's experience this through a quick demo. So what you see on screen is a dashboard for a sales organization, and on the left you can see various sales regions. So I've selected Nordic region. I want to analyze the sales for Nordic region. So you can see that Nordic region appears in green. Then I want to analyze the sales for 2011 quarter 1. So I have selected 2011 and quarter 1. You can see that in green. So what happens is anything that belongs to Nordic region 2011 and quarter 1, all those dimensions are also appearing in white. So Jan, Feb and March, these are the months which belong to quarter 1, they appear in white. Sales representatives Amanda, Brenda, Samantha and Stuart, they belong to Nordic region, they have done sales in quarter 1 of 2011, they appear in white. Whereas John Gregg is a salesperson who has not done sales in 2011 quarter 1 in Nordic region. He does not appear in white, he appears in grey. So without finding out who are the salespeople who did sales in Nordic region in 2011, I can very easily find out the names of concerned salespeople. So as you can see, all the selections appear in green. All the associated data. So I have not selected the months, but because these months belong to quarter 1, all the associated data appears in white and all the unassociated data appears in green. How does this happen? Internally, what's the mechanism that QlikView follows to achieve this? What happens is various tables, as you can see on your screen, various tables are internally linked to each other based on the name of the column. So if you have, let's say, item master table and sales table, both of them having the column called as item number. You can see there is a column called as item number here. So both of these tables have a column called as item number. QlikView will automatically link these two. So if you apply a filter on item master, QlikView will automatically apply that particular filter on the sales table. So applying filter at one place automatically achieves applying filter on all the places, all the tables or all the data sources. That's how this associative nature of a drill down is possible. Let's get a bit deeper into how the data is stored. So let's say I have a database where I have customer name, product name and vendor name. QlikView extracts the data from the data source, be it a flat file or a RDBMS, and retains the metadata. So for each data, it retains the column name and column data type that it has extracted. The data is fully normalized. Remember, QlikView does not replicate any data. So even if it happens that I have the values of sales region, there are 100 sales regions and there are 1 million sales transaction records, the values of sales region will be stored only 100 times. That's how QlikView actually achieves that 10% operation. So the data is fully normalized and the data is stored in its own file. So QlikView has got its own proprietary file format called as QVD file. So data is stored in the QVD file. So extracting data and associating with each other based on the column names, that's first point. Normalizing the data is second point, and storing the data in RAM is the third point. This is how data will appear. So as you can see on the infographic, all the item names like shirts, pants, socks, all the customer names like Jim, Kate, Joe, all of these are related to each other. So if you select pants, you know that pants are being sold to Jim and Dylan. So these are the two customers. So that's how it shows the data. Every node of data is associated with every other node of data. So why this is better? This increases the performance. You don't have to predefine the hierarchies. I don't have to define from customer go to product, from product go to region, etc. You empower the users to drive their own analysis. The end users are free to drill down from any direction to any direction. And because all the relationships are predefined, there is rarely a need to go back to IT department to add newer relationships. Unless you want to extract additional data from the source, there is no need to go to IT department for any development. So let me share an experience with you. And I'll share my personal experience as well as something that QlikView has published. We were working on the dashboard using SSRS for an organization. And it took us about 1 month for developing the dashboard because it required moving the data into a fat dimension structure, developing the ETL, and then developing what is called as data sets in SSRS, which is semantic layers, and then creating the dashboard. And then we have to go back to the users again and again to ask them what drill paths they will be following. All this process took us a month, whereas doing this in QlikView took about 3 to 4 days. Why? Because we don't have to build the ETL first of all. The ETL that is required to be built in QlikView is very simple, so it took less than a day to build that ETL. Secondly, we don't have to do extensive requirement gathering about drill paths, because QlikView will create all the possible drill paths. So whatever users want to analyze, all of that is already pre-built into QlikView. And thirdly, creating different charts. Once you create a chart with lot of measures and dimensions in it, other charts can be very easily created by copying one existing chart and changing the feature of it. Very easy in creating multiple visualizations. So the experience that I have is QlikView takes about 25 to 30% of development time compared to the time required for developing the equivalent dashboard using other technologies. Something similar that people from Zurich Insurance and analysts from different companies have expressed a similar experience. If you visit QlikView site, they have given a lot of testimonials from business users of the short duration required for developing a QlikView dashboard. Now, how does QlikView work in a real life? Let's see QlikView in action. So you have a data warehouse and you have a dashboard or a user interface. You need to build something in between these two. That's what we do when we build a data mart or a dashboard. So what sits in between these two is a QlikView file. So you don't actually need a data warehouse. You can actually develop a QlikView file on top of any data source. And a couple of my recent experiences on developing QlikView dashboard systems are actually we actually developed QlikView dashboards on top of some OLTP sources without developing a data warehouse, because all the denormalized fat dimension kind of structure you can develop it inside the QlikView files. So you don't necessarily need a data warehouse when you are developing a QlikView dashboard. You load the data from data source into QlikView file. So the difference between QlikView file and the semantic layers that you observe in business objects and commerce is that in a QlikView file, data is physically loaded. Unlike commerce or business objects, where semantic layer only stores references to data, in QlikView file, the data is physically loaded into QlikView file. And then the dashboard can actually extract data from QlikView file. So you don't need connection to the data. So realize that this is a very important differentiator for QlikView. What I have seen is what companies do is they refresh their data warehouse, then they move the required data from data warehouse or data mart into the QlikView file, and from the QlikView file they distribute the QlikView files to different business users located in different geographies. They don't need connection to the data warehouse. So you can analyze your dashboards, you can create new dashboards without even being connected to the data warehouse or to the data warehouse or to the data source. So this ability to work offline is a very important feature of QlikView. This is something that helps them to create a social experience in dashboard. Salespeople who are on the field, they don't need to be connected to the company network for analyzing. They can analyze it there, analyze their data on their mobile devices, and send comments through using mobile devices. So this offline working capability is a very important feature of QlikView. Now every click is a query. Every click that you do in the dashboard basically runs a query against the normalized internal QlikView file. But because the data is stored in memory, every click results in a query against a very normalized database and is very fast and flexible. Now, you can create any number of virtual hypercubes. What is meant by hypercube is any summarized analysis like pivot tables, gauges, etc. All of these can be created, and all of these can be put into the QlikView document. So you can have a base QlikView file, and on top of that you can put any number of summarized pivot tables, summarized diagrams, summarized gauges, etc. And those will be refreshed when you refresh data in the QlikView file. QlikView uses a patented technology called as AQL, Associative Query Language, for pulling the data from the normalized structures into the hypercubes. So we have seen technically how does QlikView work. Important feature is it lets you work offline. The data is associative. Hierarchies don't have to be defined. It's very easy to create visualizations. What does it mean for IT landscape in a company? And believe me, QlikView is actually changing the way dashboarding is done in organizations. So typically what was happening is we had IT department creating, as you can see on the left side, IT department creating all the analysis, IT department building the UDI dashboards, Cognos dashboards, business object dashboards and reports, etc. And these pre-calculated dashboards are available to business users. How it has changed in QlikView is IT department is responsible only for preparing the data, only for accessing the data and creating a basic QlikView file. After that, the entire dashboard preparation can be done by business. So the role of IT has actually come down from creating the dashboard to creating only required data for dashboard, and the role of business has gone up from accessing the dashboard, predefined dashboards, all the way to creating the dashboard the way they want. Now let's look at various components of QlikView architecture. It is very similar to any other dashboarding tool. At the heart of QlikView architecture sits a software called as QlikView Server. It's an in-memory engine, and it is responsible for client-server communication. So QlikView Server sits at the heart of entire QlikView architecture. Then you have QlikView Publisher. So what does QlikView Publisher do is whenever you want to refresh data from the data source, QlikView Publisher is a tool which will read the data from data warehouse or other data sources, and it will load the data into the QlikView server. Also, any documents, so in QlikView the dashboards are called as documents. So any documents that are created on the server, those can be distributed to various users using QlikView Publisher. And one feature of QlikView Publisher is that you can also selectively distribute documents. So you can create a dashboard, a complete sales dashboard for the entire country, and you can create subsections of it. Say one dashboard for North region, one for South region, one for selling particular type of product, etc. And define groups of users and distribute the part of dashboard to the concerned group of users. So this data security can be very easily achieved using QlikView Server and QlikView Publisher. Then comes QlikView Desktop, which is basically a tool for the developer or the business analyst. So this is a tool where you develop the actual dashboard. And finally, you have business user using web and mobile clients. This is nothing but a thin client, and it can be accessed over any URL, and also can be accessed over mobile devices. So these are important components of QlikView architecture. Now, QlikView has made it very easy to learn the technology by making available QlikView Desktop free of cost for learning purpose. You can go to QlikView website, you can very easily download this QlikView Desktop software and start developing dashboards. And the beauty of this architecture is that QlikView Desktop can work as a standalone application. You don't need a connection to the server. In QlikView Desktop, you can create dashboards, you can view dashboards, and also you can analyze dashboards created by other people provided you have a license. But if you don't have the license, if you are using the free version, you can create dashboards for unlimited period of time. That's a quick overview of QlikView architecture. How this architecture works in practice is you have, as you can see on the right side, top right side of the graphic, we have clients which are issuing dashboard clicks, which are clicking on the dashboards on their mobile devices or on the web, which issues HTTPS or QEP. QEP is a proprietary protocol that QlikView has. So that query is issued to a QlikView server. QlikView server internally stores the documents or dashboards in its memory. So those are rendered directly to the clients. Now, if you want to refresh the data, if you want to reload new data coming from data sources, what happens is you have QlikView Publisher, which will read the definition of dashboard from QlikView Desktop and also read the data in the data sources and publish it to the QlikView server. That's how QlikView will work in actual real life. Now, let's quickly look at getting started. Before we move on, let's take a quick 1-minute break. download compared to the reporting technologies. And installation of the software is very easy. It takes less than 2 minutes to install it on a Windows machine. And the software is basically QlikView desktop software. If you don't have a QlikView license, you can still use the QlikView desktop software for unlimited period of time. The only limitation that you have is you will not be able to open the dashboards created by other people, but you will be able to create your own dashboards for an unlimited period of time. QlikView also comes with a lot of good blogs, as well as one important feature of QlikView is on their website they have published some good, very good literature, technical literature, PDF files which you can learn various aspects of QlikView. But before we get into the actual demo, we are going to conduct a QlikView training 2 weeks from now on the next weekend, which will have a complete demonstration, complete hands-on exercise for creating advanced visualization, extracting data from various sources, and various technical challenges and performance tuning for QlikView. So those who are interested, you can always register for that training. Let's now jump into the QlikView demonstration. So what we have done here is we have taken AdventureWorks cycles, which is a sample database published by Microsoft. So we have taken that database and built this particular dashboard on top of AdventureWorks cycles. As you can see on your screen, we have various commonly available chart types, like you have bar chart, line chart, horizontal bar chart. All of these are pretty common in most of the reporting technologies. Spider chart, funnel chart, various types of gauges, then a scorecard like this. One important thing that I personally like about QlikView is it's very easy to create scorecards. So in this particular scorecard that you can see on your screen, what I have done is we have combined the sales details, number of orders, average sales order, these different parameters, and based on that we have actually rated each geography, each sales territory on red or green. So this kind of scorecarding is very easily possible based on various business models. You can drill down into the scorecard, and from the sales territory you can go to the category, and for each category also you can see the detailed scorecard. You can see the detailed performance. So as you can see here, you'll be able to see the performance of each category. So this is a sample dashboard that we have created in QlikView. Now, those who have worked on other reporting technologies, just compare the time required for this particular dashboard development. It took us about 1 to 2 hours to create this particular dashboard. Imagine the time required in other technologies to create this dashboard. It would have surely taken about a day to create this kind of dashboard. Another feature that I want to show you is there is a global search feature available. So as you can see here in the search window, I can search on, let's say, I can search on mountain. So immediately it shows me there are three data items with the word mountain in it. All of them are special offer descriptions, and I can select on any one of them and the dashboards will be refreshed. Now you can see that the dashboard has been refreshed. Okay. So I didn't remember, a lot of times in sales dashboards what happens is you don't know whether a particular word appears in sales category or product category or product subcategory. You don't know that, but you just know the name of that particular product group. So in this case you can just apply a global search like what I did, and the tool will tell you that word appears in sales category or sales subcategory or whatever other columns you require. Okay, so this is a very important global search feature. Let me demonstrate you a feature for associative search. So I'm now clicking on Australia. As you can see, I've selected Australia. So The sales territory Australia is high. Okay. All the dashboards are now changed and only Australia data is shown. Even here top 5 territories, you can see that we are listing only Australia now. If you see special offers here, now the special offer dimension is divided into two parts. The upper part is grey and the lower part is white. What this means is for Australia, only these white special offers are applicable. The ones in grey are not applicable for Australia. So only long-term sale, no discount, touring 1000 promotion, these are the only ones which are applicable for Australia. So I don't basically have to remember which special offers are applicable to Australia. So that's what is meant by associative search. You can drill down in place. So for example, in this sales by territory chart, what I have done is I have shown top 5 territories, that is Southwest Canada, Northwest Australia, and there is a 5th category called as others. Now there are a lot of countries which are grouped under others because I wanted to show you the top 4 and then rest of them grouped under others. So I can click on it and it will show others. So now we can see that United Kingdom, Southeast, Central, all of the next 4 categories are shown. Still there is others, so I can further drill down. Now you can see France and Germany. So France and Germany are the last 2 geographies. So I can drill down on any chart, and if you realize all other charts are refreshed accordingly. So you can see France appearing here, Germany appearing here, same way France and Germany appearing here. So you can click on one chart and all the charts are accordingly refreshed. You can disable this. You can disable this behavior. Disable this behavior of associative refresh, but it always helps because you can analyze one chart and at the same time see the performance of other parameters using other charts. Let's go to some other interesting feature here. What we have done here is the red line shows the original revenue for the company and the blue line shows the what if analysis. So revenue is inclusive of tax. So this is a post-tax revenue. So as the tax increases, as the tax percentage increases, what will happen is your revenue will go down because the sales price is remaining constant, but the net revenue will go down. So I have a what if analysis here. So if the tax increases by 0%, you can see that there is no difference in original revenue as well as revised revenue. If the tax increases by, let's say, 60%, you can see that the blue line by 40%. You can see. So what it means is that the difference between original revenue and new revenue if the tax was increased, the gap has further increased. If I increase the tax percentage further, if the tax increases to say 60%, you can see that the revenue will be further reduced. So I can do a what if analysis here. So the time required to build this what if analysis is not more than half an hour. If you know the business logic, you can build this very easy. Now, I'm doing this what if analysis for sales territory. I can also go to, let's say, ship method. There are 2 ship methods, shipping by cargo and shipping by truck. And I can also analyze the impact of tax increase on all shipping methods. Or if I want to analyze by online and offline delivery channels, I can analyze by that channel also. So you can go back to any dimension and do a what if analysis. Building this what if analysis takes less than an hour. Again, you can see an example of a particular scorecard. So we have seen the usage of QlikView. Let me show you actual dashboard building in a very quick example. Build a dashboard, just use the wizard, create a new dashboard. So this is a blank dashboard. as I described earlier, you can very easily build ETL inside QlikView. So for doing that, what you can do is you can click on this particular icon where you can select the data source. So in this particular fashion, I have selected a particular data source. So you need to have created a data source in your ODBC connections before you actually connect to data source. So as you can see, I'm now connecting to a particular SQL server, MySQL data source. It's connected now, and now I can directly select the tables. So here, let's say I'm going to Sakila database, and I can select any particular table that I want. So let's select this inventory table. So I've selected the table. So internally, internally QlikView is now creating the code to load the data in QlikView. Remember, at this point we have not actually extracted the data in QlikView, but we have just created the code to load the data in QlikView. The moment you say reload, it will ask you to save the file. You can save the file. Now I'm saving the file on my desktop. And the moment I execute this particular code, you can see that QlikView has actually reloaded the data. QlikView has actually loaded the extracted data from my MySQL database and loaded it into the memory of QlikView. Now you have done the ETL part. So how do you do the dashboard creation? So just right click and add any chart. Any type of chart. So I can say text chart, select a particular chart type, dimension, you can also take any measure. So now I have created a chart for what is the total inventory for a particular type of film. Converting this chart is to different type of chart is very easily possible. You can go to properties and very easily convert the chart to a different type of chart. Now, as you can see, there are too many values appearing. If I want to show only first 10 values, I can always say show only top 10 values. Only top 10 values are shown now. Just wanted to demonstrate to you the ease of use of QlikView. As you can see, as you can observe, any business user can create these kind of dashboards. Doesn't require knowledge of SQL, doesn't require knowledge of data warehouse. The dashboards can be created on your own. Before we get into the questions, let me just show you one more feature of QlikView which really makes it easy for the developers. Suppose I want to create a new chart and I want to use this particular existing chart as a base. You can just do Control C. You can go to a new page, Control V. I have pasted this chart, and now I can just make any changes that I want in this particular chart. Okay. So creating a new chart, you don't need to start from scratch. Take an existing chart, and so a lot of organizations, what they do is they have a set of predefined model charts available, and business users can create their own charts using this copy paste feature. There are a lot of advanced visualizations possible, different types of business possible. It takes about 1.5 to 2 days to really master this particular tool to a level where you will be able to create a real-life production scale dashboard. So the training that we are going to conduct in a couple of weeks from now all the possible scenarios as well as performance tuning, scheduling, ETL for QlikView, all of the aspects will be covered. So for now, that is it about overview of QlikView. I hope you all enjoyed this session, and we are now opening the discussion for questions.
Thank you very much, Kuldeep. Now we will be opening the Q&A. So what I recommend is that if you can start typing your questions, and then we can answer it so that everyone will be able to hear it, and we will not lose any questions in between. So if you have any questions, please start putting your questions, and then we can take up one by one. Thank you. I hope that everyone knows how to put in the question. Okay. So now here is the first question from Pradeep. So the question is, what are prerequisite technical and cost-wise for implementing QlikView? So let me just unmute Kuldeep, and then he can answer it. Thank you, Pradeep.
Okay, so Pradeep, for implementing QlikView, the technical prerequisite is that you need to have a good server. And when I say good server, you can calculate the size of server that should be made available. QlikView has actually published an Excel spreadsheet in which you can put your number of records and record size, etc., and it will calculate the size of server. So having a good Windows or Linux server is required for QlikView. And then the data sources. So generally, mid-sized organization will require 8 to 16 GB RAM. Your data warehouse is not massive. So that scale of server and connection between that server to the data warehouse is what we require as a prerequisite. No ETL tool is required. No third-party tool may be required. Everything can be done using internal features as well as Windows scheduler. The second part of your question was about cost. So QlikView is very transparent about the costing structure. You can visit their website, and the cost for server as well as various client tools is given on their website. But if you want to do a proof of concept, you can always download the desktop version available on internet and develop a proof of concept.
Thank you, Kuldeep. There is another question from Jocelyn, and the question is that, are the data loaded in memory on the server or on the user's computer?
So the data is loaded on the server, not on the user's computer, and only the summarized data, only the smaller hypercube. So what you see in this on your screen right now, there are summarized charts. So only that summarized data is actually transferred over network to the user. So you can live with an infrastructure where there is a powerful server but very less capacity client machines. That's also okay.
So I guess now we don't have any more questions right now. We can just wait for a couple of minutes. Okay, so now there is another question from Pradeep. Are these dashboards accessible on mobile/tabs?
Yes, Pradeep. So the dashboards are accessible on mobile. QlikView has one of the list mobile app. I can compare it only to MicroStrategy, which is a very jazzy mobile app. So QlikView dashboards can be accessed on uh, iPhone, iPad, or Android, and they've got a plugin for that.
Okay. So there is another question from Jocelyn. Does it exist a training version of QlikView?
Yeah, so the QlikView desktop that I described is a training version of QlikView. And you can download it from QlikView website and you can continue using it for whatever duration you want. There are limitations like you won't be able to connect to a server, but all the learning and all the ETL development can be done with this particular training version. And once you get the slides, I've given the link for the training version in the PPT.
Okay, so just to give an update that we will be actually sharing the presentation, as well as we'll try to upload the recorded webinar on YouTube, and we will be sending you the link. I hope you would have, if you have attended previous webinar, probably you would have seen the presentation on the net, as well as the last time we have also uploaded a video on YouTube. So we'll be doing the same thing for this webinar. So you should be seeing it very soon. Thanks. Okay, so I guess that I think like people are thinking a lot and don't have time to ask any more questions. So I think we need to close this now. Once again, I would like to thank everybody and wish very happy New Year and prosperous 2014. Thank you and see you soon. Bye.